Today, let's talk about that time-honored tradition in professional wrestling. Some people you know are headed off to a live event where you have not been booked, but you've decided to tag along. I'm Mike Quackenbush. This is Till We Make It, and it's not going to be surprising news to discover. Road tripping and wrestling go together like peanut butter and jelly. And there will be times when friends of yours, peers of yours, co-workers of yours get booked at an event, and there's an empty seat in that vehicle you decide to fill and head along with them to wherever that booking might be. So before you set off, I want to give you a couple guidelines about what needs to go in the bag that you are taking with you. And yes, you are absolutely taking a bag, because the golden rule in all of professional wrestling is always take your gear. And so that there is no ambiguity about what that means, I want to give you a couple tips. Number one, do you have a referee shirt and a pair of black pants? You should pack that. Do you have a suit and tie? You should pack that. Do you have a full set of gear that you could walk to the ring in? Maybe presentation gear as well, like a cape, vest, or jacket. You're going to pack all of that too. And if upon hearing this you're thinking, well, Mike, I don't have wrestling gear yet. I've just begun my training. Well, that's all well and good, but it wouldn't hurt you to go ahead and get a referee shirt and a pair of black pants and maybe a suit and tie and pack that into a bag and make sure that goes with you to your destination. And if for any reason you haven't figured out why, I'm here to tell you exactly why. Because at that event, if there's any opportunity for you to pitch in, you want to show off your versatility and how well prepared you are by having referee gear at the ready. What if they needed a manager or ring announcer? Or what if somebody doesn't show up to the card and someone's got to fill in? You have to be ready. If you are hearing this and you imagine, well, that's so obvious. Everyone must take their gear all of the time, right? I might agree with you, and yet nevertheless, a friend of mine did get to wrestle last year on SmackDown, and that opportunity came her way only because of all the female extras they'd hired that day, she was the only one who packed her gear. When you get to the venue, you're going to take great care to make sure you introduce yourself to everyone you come across. And don't say things like, I'm the savior of the shoulder breaker. Say your name, and also maybe mention who you rode along with. That way they have some context for understanding why you're there. Oh, I came along with so-and-so. And you want to make sure you end every interaction with this. And if there's anything I can do to help, just let me know. And then you want to be ready to make good on that offer. If you are willing to help, you shouldn't tuck yourself off in the darkest corner of the venue and be goofing around on your phone for the entirety of your time there. Look for opportunities to avail yourself to the people in charge. Look for those chances to show that you add value. And as you make your way through the venue and you're saying hello to the people that work concessions and you're saying hello to the people that run the music and you're saying hello to the people that tear the tickets, when you are finally introduced to the person who is in charge of the live event, you want to again repeat your name, let them know that you are here to help if they need anything, and of course, you brought your gear. Every once in a great while, you may come across someone who feels as if this makes for an unwelcome guest in their house. There is someone they have to now account for who they weren't prepared for. And in some extreme occasions, when I've tagged along other places, the promoter has asked me that if I wish to stay inside to observe the show, I've got to buy a ticket. And so be prepared for that. Is it a rare occurrence? Absolutely. But it's entirely possible that it could happen to you. I would wager to say that 95% of the events that you tag along to, a conversation of that kind is never going to occur. And if you can make certain that you make yourself useful beforehand, maybe during the event or afterwards when everyone is tearing down and cleaning up, you are well on your way to leaving a positive first impression. Over the course of my career, I think I've probably produced somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 live events, give or take. And I can tell you from my firsthand experience, when I see somebody who has tagged along and they are proactive about helping instead of waiting for me to come and get them, that makes a world of difference in the way I perceive them. So you might be thinking, Mike, what's a way I could be proactive in one of those scenarios? Well, maybe you hear them call out that it's 10 minutes till doors and you notice half the chairs still haven't been put up. Well, you don't need somebody to come and get you to tell you that they probably need help putting up the chairs, right? You can see that they need help, and then you can be proactive by being first up off your seat and out there helping them get the chairs all aligned according to the seating chart so they're ready to open on time. Maybe you have some technical knowledge that you could put to work. They can't seem to get the microphones to work right. The music won't play. Nobody has the right connector for this laptop. The lights are malfunctioning, but you know what it takes to get them fixed? Well, the faster that you can put yourself at the service of the people who need your knowledge, the quicker everyone is going to take notice. And you may have heard me remark before, but I don't mind saying it again. I believe this about the days of live events. There's only two kinds of people you come across on the day of a show. There are the people who make things easier, and there are the people who make things harder. And if you want to be remembered in one of those camps over the other, it doesn't hurt to be a little proactive. I'm going to go back a few years to relate a personal anecdote that I hope will relay an important lesson from one professional to another. I was producing a live event and someone appeared there who was not booked on, and he did make the effort to go around and introduce himself and let everybody know that he would be helpful if need be. But then, once that was done, he went about setting up his merchandise at the event despite the fact that he was not booked to perform. And this struck me as presumptuous and a bit insulting. We did a video about merchandise table etiquette, about how that market space is finite and the way in which it needs to be maximized. And I happen to think that the merchandise area is reserved for those people who are booked on. It is for the people who've been advertised to the public, and not for somebody who just chooses to tag along randomly. So please spare yourself some embarrassment and spare the promoter an aneurysm. If you are not booked on at any given event, but you happen to have brought merchandise along, do not go about setting it up. And if someone does fail to appear, or a job does emerge that you are able to fill, only do so after getting clearance from the person in charge. So perhaps the whole show runs end to end and there's no opportunity for you to make yourself useful. They don't need your help. They don't need your contribution in any way, shape, or form. This well-oiled machine has got everything well in hand. Well, as you are leaving for the night, you want to make sure that you still thank everybody and you say goodnight to every single person on your way back out the door, just for having you as their guest. And remember this. Even someone you might imagine right now fulfills only a menial task in the overall sphere of people around an organization, like the person who sweeps out the ring. They might be the person charged with sweeping out the ring tonight, but tomorrow they could be your boss. Everyone is deserving of your respect. When you tag along to an event where you haven't been booked, your number one goal is this: make a positive impression, so that when people recall you, they do so fondly. And I need you to make an impression with your finger on your screen on the subscribe button. And if that's not too much trouble, you can hit the like and the bell too on your way out the door.